Good evening, and welcome to another Mothman podcast. We research and dare to discover the truth to questions which science calls unexplainable. We hope you like tonight's episode. We'll be talking about the COVID-19 virus.
Good evening, Darrell.
Hey, Amanda. Hey, everyone. Just want to let you know that we are practicing the stay home, and Amanda's coming to us from her home now, and I'm broadcasting from our studios here at my house. So we wanted
and I can actually step outside and wave to Darrell every now and then.
And that's what we do every once in a while. We just wave at one another. But it's good to hear your voice, Amanda. It's good to be back on the air with you. Definitely,
it's good to be back on.
You know, it's real funny that you think back. This coronavirus has been around for ages. It's just expanded out, and it's found a new way to invade our bodies, and I can't believe that you take a little virus that's alive, and it's in China, and within a few months, that little live virus has covered the whole world,
the planet. Yep.
You know,
it is something history has never seen, because we've never been global like this. You've never been able to hop a plane and be in New York in 10 hours, you know.
But that's really our downfall, is the modernization of our transportation system and the way that we prove that the world, this planet that we're on, is very, very small, because look how fast things can travel. And
very interdependent. Like, I don't think we realized how dependent we are on not just our local people, but people across the world. If people in Taiwan don't package bananas, we don't have bananas to eat. You know,
right?
We're so dependent on each other now.
And I guess you and I both realize that the earth and the world and the way that we lived is a thing of the past. I didn't realize how well we had it until something like this strikes, and we'll never be the same. We'll never be able to.
Nope. Social
distancing is going to be a thing of the future. You know, they were talking today on one of the news programs about shaking hands. You know, I'm afraid shaking hands is going to be a thing of the past also.
I thought about that. Like, people aren't going to shake hands anymore.
And it's really
how will
scary.
We greet? Yeah.
And it's almost like this virus is put on the earth to wipe out the sick and the elderly.
I know.
I see the sick and the elderly, the ones that's falling the fastest and they're dying. Underlying conditions. That's what you hear about whenever you hear about a death.
That's a big one.
And we just had one of our friend's mother. She passed away. She caught the virus in a local hospital here in the Carolinas, and she's brought it home and given it to her husband. And her husband has lung cancer, so she's passed away. And it's a matter of time before he passes away, because with the lung cancer, it's just going to be going to be one of those underlying causes that's going to take care of too.
The lung.
So this individual is the son is he just lost his job. Now he's lost his mother, and he's probably going to lose his father, and he's taking care of his parents, so therefore he can't see his wife and kids. So it's just it's a chain reaction, which is it's very sad. It's very sad. So,
and you just think, if you like it sucks to be stuck bored at home, but we're the lucky ones who aren't sick and don't have immediate family who are sick, you know?
Right.
And it's something to be grateful for, and just something that's humbling, because this is hitting everybody.
Well, it's going to be around. Everybody's saying, when's the economy going to open back up? I'm very scared about our economy.
Me too.
It's just, I go to work and they're laying off people left and right, and people are waiting on checks. They're trying to, I don't know. everybody's just trying to live from day to day. My wife and I get up real early in the morning, and I still have to go to work, but we try to go to the grocery store real early in the morning so the traffic is light.
Yeah.
Neighbors are making masks, and we're all wearing masks, and we're wearing gloves.
Yep.
So, it's just...
I'm just trying to be careful.
Yeah. But it's just amazing that this little virus, this little living entity, can create itself and then travel the whole world in a matter of months. Just cover the whole world.
It just feels like we entered an alternate reality.
Yes,
it's like, what in the world is going on?
Right. And there's all these jokes. You've sent me some through the
the alien one.
The alien one, and there's one out there now where this one guy's he's standing there, and the doctor says, you're going to have to isolate yourself. Now, you can be isolated with your wife. A, you can be isolated with your wife and children, or B, and the guy says, B. Before he even hears what B is, he just says B.
Well, the divorce rate has gone up. People are filing for divorce like never before.
Right. Well, I figured there's two things going to happen here.
We're going to live with this person.
We're going to have less marriages and more pregnancies. So.
Yeah.
So that's the way it is, and I guess we have to laugh about this because it's very serious.
Yeah.
But
my sister ended up being quarantined. She didn't catch it. She didn't get the virus, and she's out of mandatory quarantine now. But right when we started seeing a few cases, it was after we saw the first case in North Carolina. She was exposed at work. They sent her whole floor home and told them, do not leave your house for 14 days by order of the state. So, but she's fine, thank God. And she works from home, so it works out for her.
Right. Now, I wanted to get in with you because you and I spoke before we went on air about mediums and paranormal, and there's so many deaths out there right now.
Yeah.
And you were mentioning that there's so many souls that are having a hard time leaving the earth.
That's what I'm hearing from, I don't know if our listeners know, but I know I have some really serious health problems. So I can't always practice my mediumship because it does affect your health. It's called working with dead energy, and you're working with the dead, and that it takes a lot of your own personal energy, and it can make things worse. So I have kind of stayed away from the spirit world lately. But what I'm hearing from friends who are mediums and psychics is that because whenever there's a sudden death, the soul is often confused about how they died, why they died, where they are. Sometimes they don't know that they're dead. And so people are getting stuck on the earth instead of transcending to a better place. And so a lot of mediums are working now to move people on. And it's a lot of hard energy work, because you kind of have to find these people in the spirit world. You have to contact them. You've got to calm them down. A lot of times they're frantic, and you have to explain to them you need to go to the light. So there's a lot of that going on right now. A lot of mediums working on this and trying to move people on. I think we're going to see more and more of it for a while. But, any of you guys out there who are mediums, be aware of that. And if you can expend that energy to move people on, help us out here, because there's thousands of people who are stuck. I mean, thousands.
Well, it's going to be one of those times where we are going to have, I've been doing a lot of research on the supernatural, and, people say, well, is this really real or something like that? But as an investigator, we try to plan to provide a detached historical survey. Ordinary does not need to state it. His aim, when I'm talking,
right.
I don't usually have to state my aim.
You want to be objective. Yeah.
But when we're talking about the interpretation of the supernatural, it presents it's a problem, in my eyes, because one man's fact may be another man's superstition. So,
right.
Until when you have new light on this subject, which, here again, I never thought that this type of crisis would ever manifest itself during my lifetime or anybody's lifetime. Just impossible. But things are changing. So, the scientific world is going to be changing. The way we see things is going to be changing. But
right.
I just believe that we're in a different world now. Our dimension, as we know it, is changing. Our surroundings are changing. And
there's a shift. There's even a paranormal shift happening on this planet right now. And I don't understand it. I mean, I think mediums and psychics are trying really hard to peer into the future as far as we can, but you can only see so much. And all of the news is, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's really bad. There's a medium that I follow on YouTube, and I don't want to give out his name because I don't know if he would be okay with that. I haven't contacted him personally. I just like to watch his videos. And he does spirit box sessions, and they're pretty routine. He has, some spirit guides that he talks to on a regular basis, and he's not always trying to see what's in the future. But with this virus, we'll call him Dave. So Dave asks the spirit box, and basically when you talk to a spirit box, you're trying to make a connection with spirits who can use that spirit box. And they use it, the energy and the sounds that the spirit box makes as their voice. And he asked his spirit guides, what can we expect from this virus? And, I mean, Darrell, you've used a spirit box before. It usually comes across in one or two words at a time.
That's correct.
You might get, he started getting some snippets of words like sick, dying, things like that, lots of people. And then it said, many will die in the South, a whole sentence. And he was like, whoa. And watching it, I got chills because I was like, spirit boxes don't do whole sentences. But he asked it again. He said, you just said people will die in the South. What do you mean? And it said it again, the whole sentence, many will die in the South. And it was chilling because it was a whole sentence that came out of the spirit box. And he turns to the camera and he goes, it never says that much. And he was just kind of quiet for a while because spirit boxes just come across in one or two words at a time. And this was like a clear voice. It was a woman's voice, and it clearly said this. And he continued to ask more questions, and we got no more information. But to me, that was it was chilling. I totally got chills, and I was like, that's the worst news, especially for the U.S.
Well, I agree.
But if you go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, to our critics and people who disbelieve, just remember a couple of things. When Christopher Columbus said that the world was round, everybody in that time laughed at him.
Yeah.
And when Edison said he can make a recorder and can make sound come out of a recorder, everybody laughed at him. Mm-hmm. So, we don't know what the future holds.
Yeah.
And we don't know, with so much spirits running around this planet in the near future, what our future holds as paranormal investigators. And the unexplainable, as I said in our introduction, it's our job to research this and to find out more about what is actually going on around us. And people need to keep their eyes and ears open, be acceptable to things that they don't understand, things that are different. We're in a very religious society, and everybody says, well, everybody's going to heaven and everybody's going to hell. Well, here again, we need to be able to realize that maybe there's a level between heaven and hell. That people get hung in here on earth, and we need to try to understand this and try to help people go forward, not only with their lives right now, but also with their spirit as they transcend into the next realm of existence.
Yeah. And one of the things I always tell people, like if I read their cards or something and they say, oh, that's a bad thing that you're predicting. And I always tell them the future is not set in stone. This can be a warning. So it tells us people will die in the South. Well, if we make changes to our behavior immediately, more people wearing masks, more social distancing, and really taking this virus seriously, we might prevent many, many deaths. And it's just best to always take any future prediction as a warning, because the future is never set in stone.
No. I honestly believe that, and I'm not trying to be a preacher. I'm not trying to be anyone other than me. But I honestly believe that God gives us paths, and it's our job to choose which path we want to take. These churches that refuse to shut down the door, well, God's given you a path. They've given you a path to be able to
obey your government.
But also you can hear the word of God through, just like your dad's a preacher. He preaches over the internet. You can hear the word of God without having to be in
3 times a week.
A church, okay?
And this is, my dad is not a man who likes technology. He hates it. But he has mastered several programs now because he wants to honor what the government is telling people to not gather, but he still wants to be able to preach. And so he's putting, these messages out over the air. And that's kind of where people need to turn right now. We need to turn to online sources.
It's out there. God gave us the ability to continue our lives without having to stand in front of somebody.
That's well said, yeah.
And
we can continue our lives.
You hear the stupid stuff like in California, somebody's having a party, 6 people are shot. Yeah. What? Just during this time, how stupid can people be? But, you and I both know people can be stupid.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and we need to be smart right now.
Right. This is no time to be greater than thou. Nothing can hurt me. A little bug that you can't even see is going to come in there and kick your rear end. Prove that you're not the almighty Hercules, right?
Yep.
So it's pretty bad. I sat here and I looked over in the little mirror across from me, and I see I'm wearing my Vietnam hat, and I'm thinking to myself, I got through Vietnam with people shooting at me for a year, and then have some little bug that I can't even see not take me out. So you just never know.
Right.
My wife and I are practicing. Still, I'm in semi-law enforcement, so I still have to get out there and do my job. But I try to be careful.
You're an essential worker.
Right. I got a letter in my car that says that. Really makes me feel proud as I'm going out into the world.
That's true. Planes can't fly if you're not making them safe.
That's right. And cargo can't move unless I make sure that everything's going safe there also. So we're doing everything we can in our industry to keep the freight moving, keep the airplanes flying, and especially with the we transport a lot of the test, and we transport a lot of the pre-test and test coming back that's going to be going to the labs. So we've got to keep these things going, and it's essential that we keep them going.
Absolutely.
But I still owe it to my family to try to take care of myself, and I put on a mask and gloves and spray myself down with Lysol and keep on going. So
You have to. That's what you got to do right now.
Yeah, it's
and it makes you appreciate right now, because any of us could be taken down by this virus tomorrow.
Right.
And it's like, I'm alive right now. I can appreciate that. What can I do that's, like I had to go pick up a medication that I have to take, and I have to go all the way downtown Winston-Salem to one of the smaller hospitals to get it. Well, they told us park and we'll bring it out to you. But I was like, I'm so grateful that these people are still working, so that I can get my medication.
Right.
And just making sure to thank your doctor, thank the nurses especially, thank these people. I have a friend who is a nurse, and I texted her the other day and I said, April, I just want to thank you because you're an essential worker. You're out there saving people's lives, and I just want to recognize that. And she was just like, wow, that means a lot. Like, they don't get thanked enough. So those are the little things we can do right now. And just, right now it's get out of the way for the rest of us. So we need to stay home, stay off the roads even.
Right. And we need to really think about somebody other than yourself, because a lot of this is not keeping me safe. It's trying to keep somebody else safe.
Exactly. Exactly. Because you don't know if you're a carrier.
Right.
And that's what they keep telling us. Cover your mouth and your nose, your face, because you don't know if you're the one who could kill people.
Right. And that's the bottom line. There's going forward, we're going to have to worry about that until there is a cure.
But there is, I don't know if you feel it, like there's some global shift happening, there's just something. I mean, obviously there's economic shifts, there's medical health, all of that, but there's also in the spirit realm, there's a shift happening that I feel all the time, that it's not necessarily uncomfortable, but it's there. And I'm just aware of it. And I don't know, I guess none of us can know why this is happening, but something's happening, and like you said, the world will never be the same.
No, it will never be the same. It will never be like it was when we were young.
Yeah.
For us that are older, we don't realize how great those times were.
Yeah.
And
we'll be telling kids the time before the virus was like this.
Right. And it's kind of like picking up a phone and you see a dial on it, and what do you do with that,
Oh, yeah.
Things change, and they change rapidly right now.
They do. Sometimes suddenly, like we're seeing now.
Yep. So, that's kind of where we're at with this podcast. We just wanted to make sure that everyone, please stay home. Please.
And take these negative predictions that we're seeing as mediums and psychics. We're seeing bad things ahead, but that doesn't have to be the future. We write our future every day. And so by doing the things we're supposed to do, the social distancing, all of this can impact the negative that we're seeing right now in the future, and we can actually change what could happen. And just be aware that we all have a psychic energy about us. We all have this spiritual energy coming off of us, and it influences the world around us. And it can be for good or it can be for bad, and it's up to the individual.
I don't think anybody could have said it any better. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you, Darrell. And
I'm
so glad we're talking again.
and there's going to be more podcasts out there, so please stay tuned for more podcasts. Amanda and I are working up one right now. We're going to talk about the Mothman, and
we've got some coming up with some hypnotherapy that you're going to be doing.
Right. Yeah,
it'll be listed under Moth and Flame.
Right. I've got a relaxation podcast I'm going to put out. To help people in this troubled time to have a few moments of peace and quiet, you owe it to yourself. So listen to my podcast.
Unplugged from the news, and Darrell's voice is so soothing when he just talks in a low, calm voice. I mean, it's really good relaxation therapy.
So I hope everyone will keep tuning in and take care of yourself. And please contact us at mothmanpodcast@gmail.com. Also, Amanda, give us our Twitter address.
The Twitter is Mothman1. So it's at Mothman1, and that's our Twitter address. You can tweet us there. If you've had any paranormal experiences, especially surrounding the COVID-19 virus, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
So until next time, please stay safe. And from Darrell, the Mothman.
And Amanda, the medium.
Good night.